Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this session of Quispamsis Town Council for April 15th, 2025. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Let the record show that it is 6 p.m. May I have an approval of the agenda, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Scryer, seconded by Councillor Olson on the question. Please vote. Your voting will come up on the screen. Motion carried 6-0. I have a few remarks this evening, and I'd like to begin my comments by welcoming everyone here at Town Hall and those that are online who are here as part of the Volunteer Recognition Awards ceremony. I am honored to participate in this year's wonderful ceremony once again, as we highlight the volunteer work of some very special members of our community. Thank you for being with us this evening. And to the volunteers, you are a critical resource to so many organizations in our community. And it's volunteers that are the reason why we are able to function as well as Quispamsis functions. It's because of the volunteer community that we have. So thank you for all of your achievements and congratulations. Congratulations to Fundy Kraken and the organizers of the AAA U15 Female Atlantic Hockey Championship at the Qplex on the weekend. It was a terrific display of this region's best young female hockey talent. The 5-team tournament saw the Moncton Fury emerge as victorious. I would also like to congratulate Kennebecasis Valley High School for winning the 2025 Reach for the Top Provincial Championship in the senior division. It's KV High's 18th championship in the last 20 seasons. What does that tell you about people coming out of Quispamsis? KVHS will now represent New Brunswick at the National Championship in Calgary next month. The school hosted 23 teams from around New Brunswick for the provincial championship this past Saturday. The town's annual spring cleaning event kicks off this month. A Cleaner, Greener Quispamsis 2025 begins on Earth Day, Tuesday, April 22nd, and runs until Wednesday, May 7th. You are invited to help restore the beauty of your streets and neighborhoods by collecting litter. You can deposit it in one of our drop-off bins at Quispamsis Memorial Arena and James Rolfe Field parking lot. Help us shake off what is left of winter and have a brighter, cleaner, more beautiful community that will put a smile on everyone's face. The NB Organ and Tissue Program is inviting residents to raise awareness for organ and tissue donation during National Organ and Tissue Donation Awareness Week, April 20th to the 26th. Horizon Health Network is working to inspire New Brunswickers to register their intent to donate and to talk to those closest to them about their decision. Learn more about this on horizonnb.ca. This is our final council meeting before the Easter weekend, and I want to wish on behalf of council and staff everyone a safe and happy Easter with friends and loved ones. And a reminder as well that Quispamsis Town Hall will be closed on Friday, April the 18th, and Monday, April the 21st for Good Friday and Easter Monday, respectively. Town Hall will open for regular business hours on April the 22nd. There will also be no public skating at the Qplex on Friday, April the 18th, Saturday, April the 19th, or Monday, April the 21st. However, for those of you who know anything about pickleball, the pickleball courts opened today. And along with those, so did the tennis courts. The pickleball courts are open today, and the tennis courts are expected to open later on this week. For more information on the court times and hours of operation, visit our website, quispamsis.ca. Under the recreation menu, click Sports, Fields, and Courts. And that is all that I have for this evening. Also, I just want to say again, thank you for being here. And I'm just going to ask Councillor Bigger to do the treaty acknowledgement, and then I will officially welcome you to this special event. Councillor Bigger, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. We would like to respectfully acknowledge that Quispamsis exists on the traditional territory of the Wolastoqiyik, Maliseet, and Micmac peoples, whose ancestors, along with Passamaquoddy tribes, signed peace and friendship treaties with the British Crown in the 1700s. We would like to take this moment to pay respect to the elders, past and present, and the descendants of this traditional territory. And may we remind ourselves of the important work we have before us tonight. May we make good decisions without prejudice or bias, and always in the best interests of our community, which we are here to serve.
Thank you, Councillor Bigger. I am looking for a disclosure of interests. Seeing there are none, we will go on now to our presentations. This evening we have the Volunteer Appreciation Awards. National Volunteer Week is held each year in April. The theme for National Volunteer Week 2025 is Volunteers Make Waves. It highlights the power, impact, and importance of individuals and collective volunteer efforts across Canada. Like a wave, volunteering is movement building. Each individual volunteer contribution, big and small, creates momentum and has the power to influence and inspire, joining a wave of positive change. During National Volunteer Week 2025, we come together to recognize and celebrate the many ways volunteers make waves from coast to coast to coast. Together we create ripples of change, and through the power of our amplified impact, volunteers make big waves. The sharing of time, skills, empathy, and creativity is vital to the inclusivity, strength, and well-being of our community. By coming together, committing, support, and increasing our collective efforts and impact, volunteers contribute exponentially to the quality of life that we all strive for. National Volunteer Week is a chance to highlight the value of volunteers and their important impact on society. For over 30 years, our municipality has hosted an annual event to recognize volunteers. This year, we are pleased to recognize the following individuals. So thank you, and we will call your name, and we'll start with Councillor Miller. Deputy Mayor Schreier and I will go forward. When we call your name, would you please come forward and receive your certification?
Thank you, Your Worship. I have the pleasure of reading two individuals' names. Unfortunately, neither are here with us today, so we'll do a round of applause after this. Pamela Carey, KV Karate. Since becoming a member of KV Karate in 2014, Pam has not only put in the work to achieve a second-degree black belt in Shito Ryu Karate, another black belt in Kubujitsu, which is traditional Japanese weapons, and the teaching title of Junior Shidoin, but she is also one of the hardest working instructors and volunteers. Pam is a full-time nurse, and she still finds time to volunteer 4 to 5 times per week. She teaches several youth classes. Still, she has the energy for the adult classes and to help with dojo maintenance while dealing with Brent and Mike. Her nominator says Pam is a role model, not just for the young girls who look up to her, but to everyone, children and adults. She puts in the work, creates a fun environment for children to play and learn, and also has the patience to work with the most challenging of all students. Please join us in congratulating Pamela Carey.
Reactivate. There you go.
Thank you. The second nominee is Megan McLaughlin, Chris Saunders Memorial Elementary School. Megan is the school's PSSC chairperson and home and school president. She oversees all of the volunteers and fundraising campaign and events. Megan was a dedicated school volunteer prior to taking on all of these positions. She played an integral role in the recent playground enhancement project. This included fundraising efforts, communication with numerous people, and ensuring the structure was inclusive and accessible to present and future users. Megan also played a very important role in ensuring the library and hot lunch program is available to all students. As well, Megan has also worked tirelessly to organize and maintain effective events to bring in the school and the community together throughout this year. Her nominator says, Megan is a team player. She takes the time to collaborate with school staff to ensure the needs of the school are being met. Megan carefully considers the inclusion of all students when planning events and initiatives. She is truly kind and caring individual who puts the best interests of students in the forefront. We are fortunate to have Megan as a part of our school. Please join us in congratulating Megan McLaughlin.
Okay, I guess it's me. So the first person is Melissa Daly from Lakefield Elementary School. Melissa has been a dedicated school volunteer for many years, beginning in a support role to becoming an indispensable part of the school community through her leadership of the Hot Lunch program, running the school library, and assisting with extracurricular activities and fundraising. She has contributed countless hours to ensure the students have easy access to resources, healthy meals, and enjoyable school events, which demonstrates her long-standing commitment to improving the educational experience for all. Even during a gap year when she had no children at the school, she continued to volunteer. She has always gone the extra mile, managing multiple roles and stepping in whenever needed to make Lakefield Elementary a better place for everyone. Her nominator says, Melissa Daly is the epitome of selflessness, generosity, and dedication. She is consistently positive, approachable, and willing to lend a hand no matter how big or small the task may be. Her enthusiasm for helping others is contagious, and she fosters a sense of community at Lakefield Elementary. Melissa is dependable, organized, and incredibly hardworking, balancing multiple responsibilities without ever hesitating to give her time and energy for the benefit of others. Her quiet yet impactful leadership has made a lasting difference in the school, and her commitment to the success and well-being of students and staff is unmatched. Melissa is truly deserving of this award because of her outstanding contributions and the immeasurable impact she has had on the Lakefield Elementary community. Please join us in congratulating Melissa Daly. I just don't want to be in the background.
Just Photoshop this out.
Okay. And our next recipient is Steve Orr from the KV Girls Softball Association. Steve began volunteering with KVGSA in 2013 when two of his daughters joined. His coaching began in-house league and eventually became part of the dynamic travel team program. Steve shared much of his time and expertise at many fields, often in a short period of time. When his middle daughter took the junior umpire course, he signed up as well. This led to the fantastic father-daughter duo in blue, umping many games together. In addition to his regular coaching, Steve has also volunteered as a fill-in coach, tryout evaluator, and tournament maintenance person. Steve rarely refuses an invitation to help out. He is an invaluable volunteer. His nominator says, Steve's passion for teaching the sport is always evident, whether he is at a practice or a game. He has many excellent qualities that he shares, and he can be seen time and time again. His loyalty to softball and KVGSA has been excellent since the beginning. Coach Steve never missed a pretty skirt night at Learn to Play, wore a dinosaur costume during a game, and has been seen dancing it out between innings while umping a game. We are thrilled to have him as a volunteer. Please join us in congratulating Steve Orr.
Where's the pretty skirt?
I was like, oh my gosh, it's like a typo. I didn't know.
The next recipient is Megan McConchie, Fundy Soccer Club. As president of the club, Megan has led one of the largest sport organizations in New Brunswick. Excuse me. Taking the helm at a time of transition and ongoing provincial challenges, Megan has shown tremendous courage and leadership. Not only has she spearheaded the hosting of a major provincial events as a tireless volunteer on the ground, leading by example, she has also exemplified true integrity as she orchestrated a collaboration of multiple soccer clubs across New Brunswick to come together to create real change in both governance and operational transparency across New Brunswick. The ripple effect of this tremendous leadership is a strong and more collaborative soccer community across New Brunswick amongst clubs which had not previously had that relationship. On top of this process, Megan was the spokesperson of clubs across New Brunswick as she challenged the provincial body to improve their governance for the good of the sport, in turn improving the experience and safe participation of thousands of players in New Brunswick. All this in one calendar year. She did this with a selfless sense of duty while balancing being a great mom, wife, and professional at Irving. Her nominator says Megan is a gem, a methodical and curious personality. She approaches every challenge to find solution. No challenge is ever too big. She gives her all to this club and has gone above and beyond in both time and energy on countless occasions. She never shies away from a commitment while still maintaining healthy boundaries. Her positive attitude and genuine care for those around her make her an ideal servant leader. She does what she does to the good of others. Megan lives our values as a soccer club by example, in particular, the value of community, which she strives to build and improve both our soccer and Quispamsis community. Please join me in congratulating Megan McConchie. She must have realized I was going to read that. I work for Irving too, so I don't believe that she wouldn't be working. Paul Dunnett, KV Food Basket. Paul has been volunteering for the KV Food Basket 3 to 4 days per week for almost 10 years. In the past, he has also served 2 terms on the KV Food Basket board. Paul is not only committed to several days per week physical on-site duties, he is the guy who keeps the staff informed of food sales for the items required and then helps with the purchasing. Often, Paul drops by on busy client days to see if any restocking is required, and he checks the building on weekends to ensure it is secure. Additionally, he will jump in to fill a grocery order for a client that arrives on a non-client day, and he is always available to train and organize any casual volunteers that drop in for the day. His nominator says Paul is always positive no matter how much work needs to be done, and he is very supportive of all other volunteers. He is very accommodating with anything that needs to be done and be called on at any time to be available for the delivery of a donation of food from a fundraising event, day, night, or weekend. His thoughtfulness is always appreciated. Thank you, Paul, for everything you do. Please join me in congratulating Paul Dunnett.
I'm pleased to start off with Linda McCartan, Kingsway Care Center. Linda has volunteered at Kingsway Care Center for over 5 years. She has helped in the home, assisting with a variety of activities which positively and directly affect the social and physical needs of the residents. Linda has volunteered with TV bingo and other provided opportunities, some of which are mentioned next. Her nominator says, "I'm happy to nominate Linda, as she is a wonderful volunteer. Linda has consistently volunteered once a week, doing our 6 residents' nails. The residents in our home look forward to Linda arriving on nail day. Also, Linda has brought her rug hooking talents to our home and has shared the skill with our residents. Linda has a very friendly and comforting personality, therefore the residents enjoy spending time chatting with her. Linda has become a friend to many of our residents and consistently assists me in my role as the activity coordinator. Our home is very grateful for the volunteer Linda has contributed. Volunteer time Linda has contributed. Please join us in congratulating Linda McCartan." Mike Brennan, Kennebecasis Public Library. Mike became involved in the Kennebecasis Public Library in 2011. With his wealth of knowledge and expertise as the town's CAO, he was able to help our library planning committee with the task of renovating and expanding existing library from 7,800 square feet to 22,000 square feet footprint in order to best meet the future needs of this rapidly expanding community. During the countless early morning and weekend meetings, he shared his vast knowledge of the town's bylaw requirements, and his awareness of budget concerns were invaluable to the library's own growth. Mike's volunteering in partnership with the Community Volunteer Income Tax Program has had him spend countless hours meeting with patrons in the library. When we were all facing the challenges of in-person interaction due to COVID in 2020, Mike took it upon himself to offer his services to the community virtually, visiting the library on a daily basis to pick up and drop off people's tax returns in a remarkably quick turnaround time. 2025 marks Mike's 9th year of service as a volunteer for the program. During that time, he has prepared more than 600 tax returns. In 2024 alone, he completed and filed 97 on our behalf, and he's on track to match or exceed that in 2025. His nominator says Mike Brennan is a no-nonsense kind of guy. If you ask him about anything, he will always give you his honest opinion. This, along with his wealth of experience, was an invaluable asset to us when it came to the Kennebecasis Library Expansion project. Mike is also a wonderful problem solver, and his attention to detail, no matter how minute, cannot be underestimated. Since his retirement in 2016, he has also put his financial background to wonderful use by helping hundreds of citizens of Quispamsis navigate and complete their tax returns as easily as possible. The success of his efforts becomes clear when we observe the observe the sheer number of people who have sought his help over and over again, year after year. We believe that Mike's years of volunteering on behalf of the library deserve to be recognized because without his help, we would probably not have the beautiful library that we have today, nor would we have been able to help the hundreds of people in our community who have benefited from the Community Volunteer Income Tax Program over the last 9 years. On behalf of all of us at the library, thank you, Mike, for your invaluable problem-solving skills, your patience, your kindness, and most of all, your generosity. We are so grateful to you. Please join us in congratulating Mike Brennan. That was a long one.
Mike was also a former CAO here at the time.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. The mayor just asked me to sort of put a button on the end of it, and we're so grateful for the wonderful spirit of volunteerism that is here in our town. And we sit around and we try to make the right decisions, but we're inspired by all of you and all the hard work that you do. And it's really wonderful, I think, to see how volunteerism in the town of Quispamsis cuts right across the generations. We've got young people, we've got older folks, and we've got family folks. And wherever you look, we're able to see that people are rolling up their sleeves and digging in. And so we're so grateful for that. And so congratulations to all of you again. And have a great spring, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. You're welcome to stay and watch this this dynamic show go on. Yeah. Have a good rest of your evening. Congratulations.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you so much.
Megan Lucas, thank you for organizing all this. Do we have the police chiefs?
Yeah, I believe Chief Young and Retired Chief Gordo are outside.
Okay. Okay.
If they can merge the way.
We are just waiting for a changeover for the next group. Tim, would you mind asking the chiefs to come in?
Not in uniform.
Mm-hmm. Good evening. Hello.
Who's the guy in the suit?
Item 5B, we have former Chief Gordo here to speak to us on the building extension. He brought along with him a couple of friends, and I'm going to let him introduce them when he's finished. We had a little chat about this today. So, Steve, would you please come to the mic and give us your update, please? Welcome, Steve.
Deputy Mayor, members of council, staff. It's my pleasure tonight to give you some final numbers, finally, on our construction project. So the project is pretty well over, give or take a few light switches here and there, but we do have the final numbers because we had to submit to the province what our debenture numbers are going to be. So I'm very pleased to report that we'll have this in writing by the end of the week, that we are coming under budget by $1,210,000. So those are very good numbers. You may recall that originally we had applied to borrow a total of $4.2 million. This included $3.7 million for the building itself and an additional separate debenture with a separate term of $500,000 for equipment and furnishings. The second debenture is no longer needed because we were able to pay for that expense with other means. And so therefore, we are now down to one, or will be down to one debenture starting in June, I believe. And originally, our budgeted amount for the building itself, the construction cost was $2.7 million, plus contingency and an additional amount of money for project management, and then some expenses in relations to interest rates for the bridge financing until the debenture. All of that was adding to 3.7. Some may think that we over budgeted, and that's why we're coming under budget, but I'm pleased to report that our budgeted $2.7 million for the construction itself, we did have a bid. One of the bids that came in was at $2.65 million. So we were very well budgeted, and I certainly can't take credit for that. Mr. Bob McLaughlin, who was a member of our board at the time, was very, very helpful in helping us coming to that figure that turned out to be very close to one of the bids. But at the end of the day, we were able to award the contract to a local company. That felt very good. They've been Homestar. They have been absolutely excellent to work with. We had a really good team to work with us, including our board chair, Mr. Kevin Darling, who's an expert when it comes to numbers. And he was very helpful in providing us the assistance we needed to get to the province with the right numbers, the right forms, and how to write all that up, because that certainly is not what we do on a day-to-day basis. And at the end of the day, we are pleased to say, as I said, $1.2 million under budget. As far as the funding by the town of Quispamsis to this project, it represents 33% lower than expected. Your funding will be 33% lower than what was projected originally to our budget to pay for that debenture. That's the report.
We are so happy to hear that.
So are we. So are we.
And you know, Chief, I was on the board when all of this was coming to a head. And if we go back a little bit in history, at the time when this was all being discussed and so forth, we were also coming out of the pandemic and prices had soared. So, you know, we had to go at that time with the best prices that we had, which is what your team did. And I'm so pleased to see that for us to be 33% under is wonderful. So that's good news.
It is
so
good news.
Thank you. And thank you for the update this evening. And Steve, I think you wanted to introduce your guest. Kevin Darling has been here different times with you as the board chair, and you have somebody else with you this evening.
Yes, I do. And I just before introducing the new chief of police, I just wanted to thank two council members in particular who are on our boards and who were very supportive throughout this construction project, Councillor Luck and Councillor Bigger, as well as yourself, Your Worship. We could not have done that without the support to at least go before the municipal borrowing board and present our case and get the money. And I think we are doing a ribbon cutting on the 25th, if I'm not mistaken. Some folks who are used to our building may not recognize the inside. It's quite a change. That said, also, I think that I would be remiss not to mention that our Deputy Chief, Mary Henderson, has had a very keen eye on the dollars throughout this project. I think some of our folks in the construction piece will be able to walk away. They know Mary very well now. They really do. With that said, I'd like to introduce you to the new Chief of Police for the Kanapicasis Regional Police Force, Chief Mike Young, and I'll let him take it from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief. And also, Mike, if I may just say, Chief, thank you so much for the service that you have provided for the communities in Kanapicasis Valley, both to Rossi and Quispamsis. We were in certainly good hands under your leadership, and we have done great things because of your leadership. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And welcome,
I
Chief
can
Young.
definitely attest to that. Chief Gordeau has done a fabulous job. He's left me in a very good position where I can just build on the already great work that he and his staff have done. So, Your Worship, Deputy Mayor, Council, staff, great to be here. Great to meet you. Very excited to work with you all. Big part, continue on a great relationship that Chief Gordeau and his staff have established. The big piece to that, ensuring great communication. I'll get into that in a little bit. Transparency and accountability. With the communication piece, I had an opportunity in my onboarding process early on. I met with CAO Watson. We established a very good line of communication, which we'll build on. I will continue to come to council quarterly. So if you have any questions, wants, filter that back through CAO Watson or council member or board members. They'll filter that back to me, and I'll be happy to answer those questions when I come to council.
Thank you. And thank you for taking on this task of filling a big pair of shoes. And I don't know if anyone else would like to speak to Chief Young, but you're certainly welcome to give welcoming words if you wish. Deputy Mayor Scryer.
Thank you, Your Worship, and welcome.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you, Ms. Chief Gordeau. Gordeau. Do we call you Chief anymore? No. And Director, Mr. Darling, for all the work that you did on the new edition. I can't wait to see it. I did have one question, though. We get reports every once in a while in our council kit, and there are, going through the report, there's really no one here to answer the questions on the report. Obviously, it's all to do with policing. So I welcome the opportunity to be able to engage about some of the stats that I was viewing the last council meeting on your reports on domestic violence. And have further discussions on that file. And so anytime you're coming back, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more
Actually,
about
I
that.
could probably speak to that now if you have a question to
Yes,
it.
I was concerned when I was looking at the report on the intimate partner violence. I referred that as domestic violence. Maybe there's a difference. I don't think so. But it's January and February, it was 42 cases to date. And the alarm bells were sort of going off in my head thinking, what is it that we're doing right now for domestic violence, intimate partner violence? Is there more we can be doing to help the police force with community engagement, getting the word out, more programming in the schools? Just some information of what's going on here with this file.
No, I appreciate the question. So if you look statistically and go back through a calendar year, usually, October, November, December, early months of the new year. So what drives, you will see a spike in intimate partner violence. Unfortunately, provincially, when the statistics come out regionally, sadly, you're going to see a huge spike due to the occurrences that happened in the city of St. John over the past year. So looking back through this year and last, usually on average, there's about 15 domestic-related files a month that we experience. Going back through, you know, through the board minutes and the stats that were provided. I believe maybe 31 were in around the period of 3 or 4 reports ago, higher than normal. Very comparable to last year, which I think was about 21. So what usually drives that is seasonal pressures, whether it be financial, that time of year. A lot of families get inside due to the cold, holiday season, and a lot of folks that struggle, you know, from a family perspective. Usually that's what spikes those situations. So from a help perspective, we actually have provincially some folks that we can reach out to. They assist. There's good messaging, preventative messaging. I believe it's Love Shouldn't Hurt campaign that's usually put out there. We have the ability from a police perspective to track those files. We can go and do wellness check-ins to see what we can do to support those families or those high-risk cases as well. But that pretty much describes why you see those spikes those time of year. There are some measures that we can put in place, and I'll be looking to do that moving forward.
For sharing that. Of course, I'm a little worried about the economic climate and what's going to be happening. And we know that we usually see a spike in domestic violence when the economy tightens up and people lose jobs, and it becomes a little bit more high risk for partner violence at that time. So I just, anything that, you know, if there's anything we can do as council to help get the word out about or education or anything like that, then I'm sure council would be more than willing to
I will take
help
you
in
on.
any way. Thank
Yes,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chief, for being here, and welcome to
Thank you for having me.
Quispamsis and to the Kennebecasis Valley. We pride ourselves in being a great place to live, work, and play, and it's because it's one of the safest communities, as we've looked at statistics over the years. It's one of the safest communities in Canada. It's in the top 10 most of the time, I believe, and we've actually been 1 or 2 once, I think, and I think we fell to number 4, but
We'll ensure we keep it that
yeah,
way.
we'll get back up there, exactly. So thanks so much for being here this evening.
Very much.
Thank you, Chief Gordo, Mr. Gordo. Thank you, Mr. Darling. Nice to see you again. Thank you. Okay. Have a good evening. Council, would you entertain moving up number 11B? We have guests here this evening who it could be a little bit of a longer wait if we don't. Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Scryer, seconded by Councillor Luck. On the question, please vote. Oh, hands would be good, please. Unanimous, 7-0. So we have Hemel Drive Developments, Limited Subdivision, Phase 2. Assent of council, staff report from Planning and Development Services Manager Dwight Colburn. Sorry, I'm just bringing this up. Councillor Olson, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd move the council grant assent to Hamill Drive Developments Limited Subdivision Plan Phase 2, subject to execution of a standard subdivision development agreement and payment of the first installment of the levy as per Section 59 agreement.
It's been moved by Councillor Olson, seconded by Councillor Thompson. On the question, I don't see any. Do you have that up for a vote? Moved by Councillor Olson, seconded by Councillor Thompson. A little technical glitch here. Okay, please vote. Deputy Mayor, did yours come up? Councillor Bigger, did yours come up?
No.
No? Are you in favor?
Oh, yes, sir.
Motion carried 6-0. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here this evening. We will move back to public hearing. There is none. Motion for minutes of the previous meetings. Deputy Mayor Scryer.
I'll move that the minutes from the April 1st, 2025 regular meeting be approved as presented.
It's been moved by Deputy Mayor Scryer. It's been seconded by Councillor Miller. On the question, Councillor Luck.
Thank you, Your Worship. In section 12 under reports, I just wanted to make a correction. It says that in regards to item 12.1, Deputy Mayor Schreier acknowledged the number of intimate partner violence. And Councillor Luck and Councillor Bigger, both representatives on the Kennebecasis Regional Police Board, will bring this item forward at the next police board meeting. I believe we decided that CAO Watson was going to actually meet with the chief and bring it up at that point. So I just wanted to correct that in the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Watson, please.
Thank you, Worship, and through you, just to close the loop on that, that conversation did happen.
Thank you. Please vote on the acceptance of the minutes, please, with that amendment. Motion carried 6-0. Item number 8, unfinished business. Update on Queensberry Drive traffic calming, staff report from Director of Engineering Works, Mr. Loge.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is an item that's been on Council's pending agenda for quite a while. And the history of it has been such that we've been looking for reasonable methods to look at traffic calming within subdivisions. And the challenge with Queensberry Drive, it was considered a local collector, and really not suitable for some of the traditional physical measures that one would see in the subdivisions. So with council's indulgence the last few years, we've looked at different methods of self-policing traffic control, and something that we could adjust, trial and error. And the last couple of years, what we found great success with has been center line warnings paddles with slight narrowings in select locations along Queensberry Drive. To the point that we're actually getting, instead of complaints, we were getting positive notes from the residents in the subdivision that this was their preferred method of traffic calming compared to the humps, the narrowings, the fact that it was seasonal. So we've had that type of feedback from the residents. Yes, they do have the occasional complaint about people speeding in between. They acknowledge the calls that we've received that sometimes it is likely people that live within the subdivision that are doing the speeding. And those are the types of issues that we're up against. Our last master transportation plan, we revisited our traffic calming policy, and I think most of council recognizes that a true traffic calming initiative requires full public participation, a program of petitions with the residents representing more than 50% of the property owners in that particular area that's being impacted. And what we found over time is that the level of engagement from the initial contacts on Queensberry Drive has shifted. The initial complainants no longer live in the subdivision. The contacts that we usually get are either directly from a member of council who's approached by a resident, or a member of our staff who's on site, and they'll make a comment. But there has not been for a while a defined point of contact for the subdivision that they are the spokesperson or the champion, as you would, for that. So looking at the program that we've got, the policies that we have in place with our traffic calming policy, the fact that we've come across a reasonable and accepted method of traffic in the particular subdivision, I met with my staff and the operations staff as well, and they felt that just from a level of service aspect, we could continue to deliver a seasonal installation of these type of traffic control. We could react if required to a particular location if one needed it more so than another. And it was my staff's recommendation to me that we make a recommendation to council that we adopt this as the traffic calming for this particular subdivision, and essentially drop from the pending agenda the application. Well, technically, there was no formal application to the traffic calming program for Queensbury Drive. Now, with that having been said, what we're looking at is in working with our planning group as well, as we come across new subdivisions, are there going to be opportunities to introduce this on a permanent basis right from the get-go, at the time of design, at the time of construction of a subdivision? And those are the types of things that we're investigating now, in lieu of saying, well, let's wait and see what happens. Is there anything that we can do proactively? And Mr. Colburn and his team regularly examine all the new subdivision applications and look at it with an eye to saying, okay, is there an opportunity here to introduce some level of physical traffic calming built into the subdivision? So our approach over the years has differed a little bit. We're finding things that we have the capacity to do now are much different than have been in the past. And we're finding that the residents themselves, the level and the type of complaints, when you to have the opportunity to talk and to meet with them and when they call and you chat with them a little bit, and they, I don't want to say sheepishly, but they will acknowledge, yeah, I know we're a dead-end subdivision, and yeah, I know it's so-and-so down the road, and that we're complaining about. What can you do, being the town? And you know, quite frankly, there's not a lot you can do once the individual gets behind the wheel, if they're distracted or if they're in a rush, whatever it might be. So in this particular situation, my staff felt that it warranted, you know, making this recommendation, getting the pulse of council, as you will, because ultimately you folks are the people that will get some of the calls on a regular basis, to make sure that you're meeting the level of service that you've indicated to the subdivisions that you want to see done. And because there aren't a lot of initial people around, we are also recommending that we look at, for this particular street and any other areas, sort of stepping up our social media game when it comes to traffic calming and traffic control and speeding in subdivisions, and you know, acknowledging that, you know, for example, Queensbury Drive, you know, you're going to see this on a regular basis. We're going to be looking at the area. How do we manage it? How do we maintain it? A little bit of public awareness. How does it work? Why is it seasonal? Those types of messages, and seeing what kind of feedback that we get. So, you know, I do recognize that it's been on the agenda for a while. In meeting with my staff and trying to discuss how to resolve these things, a lot of times there is no permanent recommendation that's feasible, that's reasonable. And in this case, we felt that, you know, let's make this recommendation to council tonight and then get some feedback. If council's agreeable, we would proceed. Then we would take this into account when we look at other subdivisions. We do have a traffic calming policy. There are specific defined application steps for that. If we want to adhere to, you know, a true policy program, we should be following those steps, and rather than sort of winging it from subdivision to subdivision, depending on the winds may blow when somebody calls in or doesn't call in. Quite often, when we outline a traffic calming policy requires a petition, a spokesperson, or champion as you may, it gets dropped. And that's telling in a lot of times, is that, okay, is it a one-time thing? They're walking the street, they happen to see a car speeding by, I'm going to call the town. Is it a regular occurrence? So we take all these things into account when the communications is made to us. And we have to also acknowledge that, yes, there are going to be streets that they started out as a nice, quiet street when they built the house, but as subdivisions grow, they become the main exit and entrance into a subdivision. And that's unfortunate side of growth, and we do the best we can to control it through this. So a long and convoluted explanation of why the memo is before you this evening. My apologies for that, but I just wanted to give you the context that this was not a decision that was taken lightly, and that was, we discussed it at the staff level and said, okay, what can we practically do? And from both the operations side and from my engineering side, they felt this was the appropriate recommendation to make. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Mr. Loge. Appreciate that. Deputy Mayor Scryer, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was just going to put the motion forward, and we can, council accept the recommendations for the town to adopt the seasonal use of mid-block narrowing and center line signage for Queensberry Drive as a traffic calming measure, and that the town communicate through its social media channels that this item is removed from the pending agenda.
Thank you. It's been moved by Deputy Mayor Scryer. Councillor Luck, would you like to second it? I know you want to speak to it. Seconded by Councillor Luck. On the question, Councillor Luck, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Mr. Loge. Thank you very much. It's, as you mentioned, it has been on our pending agenda for quite some time, so I'm sure you're happy that we're hopefully getting it off the agenda. One of the questions I have is, because it was communicated in the past where we were piloting different forms of traffic calming, and the plan was to go back and kind of have either a public forum or something with that community. What's the plan for us to, I guess I just want to speak to, I think it's wonderful you're not getting complaints, but I also worry, are people not complaining because they feel like, okay, they've heard us and they're working through the process and they're planning on coming back to us. So I just wouldn't want people to feel like, okay, I was waiting not to complain because I thought they were coming back and now they've made a decision without me. So can you speak to that, please? Thank you.
Sure thing. And I think most of council will acknowledge that a lot of people don't wait to complain. If they want to complain, they're going to complain. So, but part of the awareness is a reintroduction of the traffic calming policy that has the application, the petitions type of thing that goes with it, and acknowledging that, as I said, specific to Queensberry Drive, you're going to see this spring the traffic calming is coming up. Did you know that the last 8 years we've tried different methods? Here's the I think council, we included some of the numbers in the graphs that showed the speed differentials. We're taking an average speed that goes from 59 to 40, and a 85th percentile that goes from 60 to 52, and in different areas, and ultimately it boils down to driver willingness to participate. So I think and it's nice to hear that the new chief is looking towards quarterly meetings, because they are going to be key as to the message that we communicate with the residents. But yeah, your point is well taken. We can't leave them and say, oh, we're done. It is going to be, here's what we've done. Do you have any questions, any concerns? Let us know. If they choose to reintroduce the petition program, then that's good, and that they have the interest there and they have a spokesperson that's willing to step up. And I think we all know what happened to the last couple of people that chose to stick their necks out in that particular subdivision. They became targets, and that's the unfortunate side of this. Sometimes when people want to speak, they also become the target of unintended consequences. But we think that this is an effective program. We've seen in other communities that we can use this without going through the traffic calming program. We have a sample going up now on Cedar Grove Drive. We're using it seasonally to see what that does. We're in constant communication with the neighbors that are there to see what they feel about it. They have given us some suggestions on locations and timing, and it seems to be one of the least obtrusive methods that we use, and it's affordable when you compare to the asphalt and the maintenance associated with the asphalt and things like that. So we think it's a good trade-off at this stage of the game for our traffic calming program.
Thank you. Councillor Miller, please.
Thank you, Worship. Through you to our Director of Engineering. Thank you. This has been going on for a long time, and I am the one that probably lives closest to all of them, since I can see Queensberry from my back window. And although it didn't go through the exact same process as we've defined, we have at least closed this, in the respect that if people do want to come back for another process, we've got something that's now solidified. It's not like this isn't going to happen. It may happen this year, may not happen next year. We've solidified it. And anecdotally, and when people do tell me whether they like it or not, they're not very shy. And it's been more, this has been more acceptable, the current one, than the other ones. You're not going over these big bumps and causing issues. It's, some people still say they're too narrow, but I've seen dump trucks drive through them. But anyway, so thank you very much. At least this is done for now. It's off the docket. And then if it needs to be revisited, I mean, that can always happen, but I fully support. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Loge, and to your department. And certainly, we welcome any of these kinds of complaints. And sadly, when people do become targets, all the more reason for us to engage and to take other routes in order to make sure that that does not happen to our residents or our citizens. Councillor Luck.
Thank you, Worship. I just wanted to more so just speak to a comment that Mr. Logier had made, more so around when we start to look at policies, because it does concern me that we have a policy that we've acknowledged might create kind of someone being a target. So I think when we're looking at our traffic calming policy, we should, I guess, look at, if we know that potentially causes a neighbor to be a target, and we've seen it, we may want to take that into consideration when we're updating that policy to figure out, I guess, the best approach so that that doesn't happen, especially if we've seen that happen in the past. So, thank you.
Mr. Loge, please.
If I may, Your Worship, through you, that's a point well taken, and we did revise our policy slightly so that once a petition is posted with the town and it's accepted by council and direction is given, then the town becomes the driving component for that. The unintended consequence is all of a sudden that, and that's the unfortunate side, is you can't control what the impression that a resident has about somebody else. But as far as the driving force and managing it, yes, the current policy is structured so that it's the town crews and their town staff that are driving it. And so the only reason that the person is there is basically to be that initial point of contact and potentially leverage that person for communications in the future, but that person is not there to defend or explain the program. That's our program. So that's the changes that we made with our policy. So well taken. Thank you.
Thank you. On the question, please vote. Motion carried 6-0. Item 8B, NBCC Living Lab Technology Partnership Memorandum of Understanding, staff report from Technology Manager Sherry Levesque, and that was in our kits. Mr. Watson, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to members of council, this is a follow-up to February 2025 discussion in which we talked conceptually about the possibility of a partnership between the town and the New Brunswick Community College, and specifically their IT and digital education programs, and recognizing that there seemed to be something there worth pursuing. So we've pursued, and MBCC has remained interested, as have we at the staff level. And so the recommendation before you this evening is that we enter into a no-cost memorandum of understanding with MBCC to establish Quispamsis as a living lab site for those programs, which would essentially invite those students to contribute across a couple of faculties at MBCC St. John to contribute to work in the technology space here at the town. And that could involve some students being physically placed here for student placement, but it could also involve students being tasked with course assignments that are of benefit to our technology needs as part of their coursework. So both the technology manager and myself really see this as a win-win, very low-risk relationship. Certainly if there were to be financial considerations for, I don't know, additional equipment or space reallocations or vice versa, if MBCC was incurring costs by virtue of this partnership, we'd be coming back. But at this time, we don't foresee that. We foresee this being a partnership between collaborating organizations that see mutual benefit. And certainly from a student perspective and from a professor's perspective, this is providing these students with real life experience that they would otherwise be have a difficulty accessing. So from that perspective, also a win. So recommendation is to proceed, but certainly welcome any conversation or questions you may have. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. Deputy Mayor Scar.
Thank you, Your Worship. I think it's a wonderful initiative, and I'm happy that we're working with MBCC to help the students and to help the faculty and actually help us with, the town can use the help. So I would move that council approve the signing of the MBCC Living Lab Technology Partner Memorandum of Understanding as presented and direct the town staff to proceed.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Bigger. On the question, Councillor Olson?
No.
No? Okay. No questions. Please vote. Motion carried 6-0. Olson, please.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you, just as kind of next steps with respect to the MOU, with council's endorsement, we'll proceed to get the agreement signed on our end. MBCC will be doing the same. I suspect MBCC will see a public opportunity for an announcement about this partnership. I would expect that you would want to be party to that announcement as well. So we'll just work in conjunction with MBCC to coordinate a public announcement related to this. But knowing that there's been endorsement on the side is certainly welcome, and I'm sure MBCC will welcome further discussion. So thank you again.
Thank you, and perhaps that's something we could do during a council meeting if that suits the NBCC and your staff. On to item number 9, correspondence. There is none. Item number 10, bylaws. Proposed amendment number 027-36 to a bylaw of the municipality of Quispamsis respecting traffic, streets, and public places. Consideration of first and second reading. Councillor Olson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd move council give first reading to proposed traffic bylaw amendment number 027-36, a bylaw amendment that will reduce the speed of an Aurora Boulevard from 50 kilometers per hour to 30 kilometers per hour.
It's been moved by Councillor Olson, seconded by Councillor Miller. On the question, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was just wondering what the speed limit is for the rest of the subdivision. That was number 1. And number 2, is that not where we put the flashing lights a few years ago? Right by that intersection? That was my second question.
Through you, Your Worship, Aurora is the entrance off of Vincent Road into the Chelsea subdivision.
Right.
Chelsea subdivision has a variety of speed limits depending on the geometrics of the street. It goes 50 on some of the straightaways. The corners are down as low as 30 kilometers an hour, they're posted. In that particular area, my staff felt that it was appropriate to lower it to the 30 because we're also incorporating a AT network that takes children, young children, old children, to the BMX park that's down there, and we felt that it would be appropriate to do that. That's a recommendation for that particular subdivision. The flashing lights, we've got a series of rapid flash beacons throughout the town, and it is basically for a crosswalk awareness. So it's irrespective of the speed limit that's posted. The flashing beacons are for driver awareness for people who are wanting to cross the street. And so we're really not too concerned about how close it is to this particular street.
So just to follow up, so when you come off Aurora and you're on Chelsea, what's the speed limit on Chelsea? Is that 30 as well?
That stretch, if I'm not mistaken, is close to the corner that goes, and it's, if I would have to verify, I thought it was 40.
Okay. I was just wondering, like, speed up, slow down, speed,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, and what we do-
I thought if there's a more of a consistent speed limit.
What we do is with this particular stretch of the roadway, because it's Aurora and it's full length, we'll sign it appropriately, and then, and you're correct, what we usually have to do is do some advanced changing, like the transition zones. So we'll see where the transition zones overlap, And if it's more streamlined to just continue it, then we'll look at that and come back to council with a recommendation. But for now, for the purposes of the bylaw, it's because we want to do the street as a whole, it's got to be posted in the bylaw as its full length.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Luck, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to CAO Watson. It's more of an administrative request. I don't know if you could read my mind, what I'm going to ask, but I have no issues with both of the amendments, and I appreciate that we have to write the amendments the way that we typically write them. But it'd be really helpful if we could have them in context, because I know when I was looking at them, I was pulling up the old bylaws and looking at them and saying, okay, we're taking this out and putting this in. If we could have a document so that when we're reviewing it to see if it kind of makes sense in the whole context of the rest of the bylaw, it would be extremely, I at least I'm speaking for myself, but it would be extremely helpful when we're reviewing it for a motion. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Watson, did you want to address that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope, just to say thanks for the advice. I got you.
Okay.
And I think that certainly something I can take back to staff and see how we can accommodate the request. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Councillor Miller, please.
Thank you, Worship. First 30 kilometers is enough on that street. I mean, it's only from here to, if you're going 50, you've gunned it since you turned on, so. Yeah, that was it. It was kind of a little bit not the same as Councillor Luck, but I think a few years back, we had actually passed a motion to change some of the smaller roads that are in subdivisions down to automatically be 40 anyway. So I know we were looking at the feedback from Rossay as well, but if the rest of that's 40, I mean, this to be 30, being 50 right now makes no sense. So this is perfect. It's just a comment could be for a later day, but if you have the answer now, that's fine. Thanks.
Mr. Loja.
And through your worship, to build off of Councillor Miller's statement, where that came through was if you recall, our master transportation plan when we classified. So we didn't pick streets; we looked at street classifications, and if it's this type of street, it went to this speed. So that's part of the exercise when we're looking at Aurora, because it was posted that way going into the subdivision. To post it differently, but what we'll be doing is working with our planning group to say, okay, these classifications, as you say, are all automatically 40, these are automatically 30s, and if we change it, it'll be coming back to council because of a geometric issue, a sharp corner, a steep grade, or whatever like that, but a classification, we're hoping to have all those specifically identified ahead of time, because we know this is a local collector, it's this speed, it has this, it's this speed, so that's all part of the planning process that we're working with. Thank you.
Thank you for the explanation. It has been moved by Councillor Olson, seconded by Councillor Miller for first reading. On the question, please vote. Motion carried 6-0. For second reading, Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Worship. I move council give second reading to proposed traffic bylaw amendment number 027-36, a bylaw amendment that will reduce the speed on Aurora Boulevard from 50 kilometers an hour to 30 kilometers an hour.
It's been moved by Councillor Miller, seconded by Councillor Olson. On the question, please vote. Motion carried 6-0. Thank you. Item 10B, proposed sign bylaw amendment number 036-05, a bylaw of the municipality of Quispamsis respecting signs. You have a motion in front of you. Looking for first and second reading. Deputy Mayor Scryer.
Council give first reading to amendment number 05 to bylaw number 036, a bylaw of the municipality of Quispamsis respecting signs.
It's been moved by Deputy Mayor Scryer, seconded by Councillor Olson. On the question. Deputy Mayor Scryer.
And thank you for this, and I'm glad that we're looking at these roundabouts, because it is. It's as soon as I saw them, I thought, oh, geez, I don't know, that doesn't look too safe to me. But, so we did an amendment to this bylaw last year or 2 years ago, didn't we? That to allow that signs couldn't be so many feet near a stop sign or a traffic control sign. So does this open up that whole bylaw to be looked at again, or just this is just one amendment? Just the one amendment? Okay, thank you. And just my last other comment is, so this is there's a traffic circle, which is very obvious on the arterial, but then we have the smaller ones on, such on Gondola Boulevard in subdivisions. So how do we distinguish with those?
Yes, through your worship, and it's the reason that there's the amendments in the traffic bylaw as well as the sign bylaw. The traffic bylaw classifies traffic roundabout, a traffic control island, a traffic circle, all as traffic control devices. And then by grouping all those things with an island in the middle as a traffic control device, now we can control them the same way we do with the bylaw that keeps signage 5 meters away from a traffic signal, like traffic lights, which is another type of traffic control device. So we cover that aspect of all the islands, no matter size, shape, or location, as a traffic control device. Can't be within the island, and it has to be further than 5 meters away. And just the way our bylaws are worded, it has to be both the traffic bylaw and the sign bylaw. That's why the amendment is structured this way.
And one of the things that we had discussed was putting out a sheet for election time, whether it's municipal, provincial, or federal, and we will make that available at some point, and it will be on our website, I'm sure, that there are positions where signs during elections have to be placed or not placed, I guess. So, so we have a motion on the table, moved by Deputy Mayor Scryer, seconded by Councillor Olson. Please vote. Motion carried 6-0, and for second reading consideration, please. I have a mover, Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would move council give second reading to amendment number 05 to bylaw number 036, a bylaw of the municipality of Quispamsis respecting signs.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Miller, seconded by Councillor Thompson. On the question, seeing there are none, please vote. Motion carried 6-0. Thank you. Item number 11, RFP number 2025 TQ02-3, Hampton Road, Route 100, Infrastructure and Corridor Analysis and Design. Staff report from Director of Engineering and Works, Mr. Loge. Councillor Bigger.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move the town award RFP number 2025 TQ02-3, Hampton Road, Route 100, Infrastructure and Corridor Analysis and Design to Englobe Corp Engineering, commencing with Part A for an upset fee of $157,372.25 plus HST, and that the project be brought back to council prior to the award of Part B. Further, the project costs that exceed the allocated budget of $150,000 be derived from unexpended operational budget or from a reallocation of 2025 operational reserves.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Bigger, seconded by Deputy Mayor Scryer. On the question.
On the question?
Deputy Mayor Scryer.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Mr. Loge. I noticed in Part B, the dollar amounts drop. Like the initial Part A, the dollar amounts are fairly significant. Part B, they drop, and then Part C, they go up again. I guess that's going near the end of the project. So I'm just wondering what the lull is between the A and C.
Thank you, through your worship. The way that we've structured the tender request, Part A is that initial investigation. So they would be doing some work with the town staff, the public at large, getting through conceptual designs, flipping, seeing what the infrastructure, the assets are like in that corridor now. What are the road conditions? What do we envision that we want to see there? What do we need to have for water? what do we have? So what we would normally see is that during that exercise of defining what we want to do, they are going to be doing probably half of their design conceptually. So part B is the actual design, getting it on paper. So they do the technical measurements and things like that to get a document ready for tender. So the reason that it's a little less and is that they've done a lot of their initial legwork in the part A. If we were just going to a straight design, we knew what we wanted, and we wanted to have a design and a tender, and we would skip part A, then that would, you'd see your design component be much higher. But in this particular case, we had a rather robust discussion at the staff level and even with the consultants in our shortlist interviews about, is this a active transportation exercise? Is it a water main design exercise? Is it a corridor design exercise? What is it? And that we wanted to impress upon them that it's a multidisciplinary approach to this stretch of the Hampton Road. It's going to be the most I won't say aggressive, but it's the most comprehensive look that we've had at a street in the town in a long time. Deservedly so. It's one of the core corridors in the town. It has the most potential for increased development and density. It has the ability to set a footprint for what we want to be represented as from an AT perspective. It'll be the gateway into the Arts and Culture Park. So we really wanted to impress upon them that they do a comprehensive look at this part A, give it all the warts and moles, and find us what's good, what's bad, what do we have to do to make sure that Hampton Road will work. And that's where you're seeing that increased cost in that first level. They're going to be engaging not just their civil engineers, but they've got planners, landscape architects, streetscape architects, AT technicians, all inputting into a conceptual design that we'll be looking at. So that's why you see a higher cost in that first part.
Quick follow-up is, after the tender's awarded, what timeline are we talking for Part A to be completed so that we know where we're moving with the road?
So the way we structured the request through your worship is that Part A, the conceptual design, we've asked the consultants to have everything ready for September the 25th, which is usually our budget deliberations period. So we will know come December what the estimate would be for this. Then Part B is at that point in time, if council is in general agreement, okay, we know we've got half funding or shift funding or whatever it might be, we can say we're going to proceed. Then we can award Part B, which is the actual design and get ready for tender. They anticipate that tender, that actual component will be completed around February, March. So they're ready to go to tender come April of 2026 and completion of 32 weeks construction, which is November of 2026. I wish you all well. But the November of 2026 would be the completion. So 32 weeks of construction is what we've based our RFP on. Now, the scope of that work will change if required because of budget or grant funding or whatever it might be. But we wanted to line up A, B, and C with defined council decision dates, such as your budget deliberations and things like that.
Thank you. On the question, we have Councillor Bigger moved that the town award the RFP for the Hampton Road infrastructure and corridor analysis and design to Englobe. On the question, please vote. Motion carried 6-0. Item 11B, Hamel Drive Developments Limited Subdivision Phase 2, PID 00173-732. Oh, sorry. We did do that earlier. Reports.
I do have a question.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. My question is to Mr. Loge through you. I believe I'm reading this right. So the number of permits, building permits, regardless if they're a single dwelling or an accessory building, we're at 52 to date this year compared to 23 last year? Am I reading that right?
That's correct.
Okay, and in dollar-wise, we're just shy of 8 million compared to last year of 3 million, 399?
That's construction value. So
Construction.
that's not permit, that's the units that are being constructed.
So worth just, I think I added it up, it was just shy of $8 million, something like that. Okay, so that's a substantial growth this year compared to last year in a couple of months. So I'm just wondering if you had any comments on that, how we're doing.
I'll offer mine, and then I can, Mr. Colburn's got probably an insight. What we're hearing, a couple of things, is we're hearing the weather cooperated a little bit. We didn't see a significant snowfall, so some developers managed to keep their crews on throughout the winter. We're hearing that the decrease in the interest rates had some impact in that. The people were waiting to see what happened, and the gradual decrease of the rates meant that they had a little bit more security and confidence in coming into town for a building permit. The other thing that we have heard as well is that people are trying to beat the tariffs. And they thought there would be a tariff impact, and they said, okay, this is coming. And so we had, as you can see in March, you had 21 starts, and that's just the fear, the U.S. administration factor. And then, but I'm sure Mr. Colburn has other insight, but those are the three that I've heard from that perspective.
Mr. Colburn, please.
Through your worship, am I allowed to say ditto? No. Yeah, it's pretty much what Mr. Lozier has indicated, as well as there's a move towards, again, some of the multi-residential act initiatives that have been considered and put forward by council. People are starting to act on them now, so you're going to see that upward trend happening for sure. So.
Thank you. So moving from reports to business arising from committee of the whole, nominating committee recommendation for Ritchie Lake Committee, a community advisory committee. Councillor Olson, please.
Thank you, Worship. As per the motion made at the April 1st, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting, Council accept recommendations of the nominating committee as proposed, subject to any other provisions mentioned in the terms of reference document for a 2-year term effectively immediately April 1st, 2025, expiring March 31st, 2027.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Olson. Councillor Luck, are you seconding that? Seconded by Councillor Luck. And was there a question? No? On the question, please vote. Motion carried 6-0. Thank you. And the next item, 13B, Council approve the prioritized listing as amended of bylaws for review and direct staff to support council by bringing forward draft amendments to review in priority order. Councillor Thompson.
Yes, Your Worship, I would move that council approve the prioritized listing as amended of bylaws for review and direct staff to support council by bringing forward draft amendments for review in priority order.
It's been moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Bigger. Please vote. Motion carried 6-0. May I have a motion for adjournment, please? It's been moved by Councillor Olson, seconded by Councillor Bigger. On the question, Councillor Bigger.
I wanted to confirm, as we reconvene back into closed, will Mr. Colburn be part of the discussion of that item?
No, no.
No, it won't be. I'm referring to the CAO's report regarding transit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were referring to something else.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Colburn, you will be here, correct? Yes. I'm
Okay.
sorry about that.
It was a binary choice. I knew it was one or the other.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. It's a good thing, one or two. Please vote. Motion carried 6-0. Thank you, everyone. We will now go into closed session.